Hello, everyone, and we are back celebrating Black History Month. And this time we have Suffolk alum, recent grad, doctoral student, Lindsay Dieudonne, and super excited because just a couple months ago, Lindsay was on campus with us, but now she's doing amazing things, and we're privileged to spend some time chatting with Lindsay today. My name is Adesua Igbeneweka. I use she, her pronouns, and I serve as Director for Career Equity and Access in the Center for Career Development, Career Equity Development and Success. I'll turn things over to my co-interviewer today, Adeleke.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Adeleke Yowa. Yeah, I'm a grad student here at Suffolk University, and I work as a grad fellow at the Career Center with the Career Equity and Access strand. Thank you.
Thanks, Adeleke. All right, so to get things off, Lindsay, can you please tell us a little bit about your academic and professional background and how you identify?
Of course. It's so good to be talking to you again, Ade. I just want to say that. But I am a recent alum from Suffolk University. I graduated in May of 2023 with my bachelor's in political science, studying law and public policy, and a minor in Black studies. Professionally, I'm still a student. However, I was working with the city council for a while and was in state departments and interning in different areas, focused mainly in the public policy world. I am currently a PhD student at the University of Maryland in my first year, studying policy studies as well.
Wow, that's good to know, Lindsay. So I'd also like to know, what does the Black History Month mean to you, and why is it important?
I love this question. So first, oh, I forgot to answer how I identify. I am a first generation Haitian American woman, under the umbrella of being a Black woman, of course. And so Black History Month to me is all about celebration, reflection, and education. It's completely important, in my opinion, because it's good to know where we have come from and where we're going, as well as finding key points and key moments to be able to celebrate each other and to be able to celebrate the history of Black contribution, Black success. There is no American history without Black history. A lot of American history was a lot of key things that happened in American history was supported or if not initiated by Black people. And so Black History Month is really a time to hone in and focus on what Black people have done and how we have been able to continue to build a society that, we would like to see, even though there are still some things to be worked out. But the contributions of Black success, of course.
Absolutely. I love to say we're Black every day, but it's also, great to be able to celebrate um, the things that Black folks have contributed to America and to the world. It's like celebrating your birthday, even if it's your birthday every day. So I see it as similar in that way. There's no denying identity's impact on one's academic and professional life. How have aspects of your identity impacted your academics and your career?
Mm. Um, Growing up, I came here from Haiti when I was about 3. And so having the immigrant experience really fueled into my academic life, specifically because my mom always raised my brothers and I with the 3 L's of Haitian culture, which is l'école, l'église, and la caille, which translates to school, church, and home. So if you weren't at school, you had to be at church. If you weren't at church, you had to be home. And what were you doing at home? Homework. So, of course, my identity as a Haitian woman has definitely been fueling a lot in terms of my academic life and in the professional world and trying to navigate how to be a Black woman in, spaces that weren't necessarily built for Black people or Black women in specifics. It has definitely been a roller coaster of a journey. And the important things that I have found in both my academic life and professional life with the identities that I have is finding mentorship and communities to support me throughout it. And that's something that I've been grateful for through it all.
Nice. I think your story, I quite resonate with your story of how our parents just try to impact these things in us in terms of you have to just be very you have to excel in your academics, you have to come out with very good colors and having very good examples around us. So I'll
Mhm.
just ask what have you learned from your racial and cultural identity that has encouraged and empowered you to continue your academic and career endeavors while you were students at Suffolk University?
As a student at Suffolk, there was a lot of navigating to do in terms of the more racial identity aspect. With Suffolk being a predominantly white institution, there weren't that many, people to look up to that looked like me. And so, when Ade came along and I met Jenny and all these incredible people, it definitely helped me see what I could be, even though we didn't share the same career interests. It helped me be able to envision myself having them around. And so my racial identity, of course, as a Black woman, has been, how do I'm trying to find the words to say this. At Suffolk, it started off not as strong and as powerful when I first started, but the longer I stuck through it, and the more people that I encountered, I was able to see how I fit in every aspect of life. It doesn't matter what institution I'm at, it doesn't matter what career I want to be. There is a space for me. If it's not created, I'm going to make it. And that's also where my cultural identity ties in, being Haitian and having such a rich history of independence and perseverance and fighting against systems that don't serve us anymore or systems that never served us. That has always been something that had drilled me through Suffolk, figuring out what works for me, what doesn't work for me as an academic and as a person. Because I think a lot of the times we forget that we are multiple identities. We're people before we are whatever our career or academic status is. And so that's both of those two things have definitely helped me get through Suffolk and get through life because I'm still currently using those two methods. So yeah.
Shout out to the former BSU president. Well, can you name one highlight? Besides, I know a lot. So just tell us one highlight of your academics that you deem the most impactful, successful, and how it shaped your career trajectory.
Ade, you're always asking the hard questions.
Listen, I know you can do this.
One highlight, just one. Oh my goodness.
Yes,
Okay.
I know.
um, wow. Oh, okay. I have been very blessed and grateful to have been part of the McNair Scholars Program, which helps first generation low income minority students and underrepresented students be able to pretty much get a feel for research and kind of have a explore that interest for grad school. And so, sticking through the program, the McNair program, for 2 years and being able to explore non traditional career fields that, I was raised with. My mom always said, you either have to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, nurse, the big five that a lot of immigrant parents want us to be. McNair helped me see that I can still provide just as much meaning to any other field. If I go to grad school and continue to do research, I might find something else that I like. And so being through that program did help me see that I wanted to be a professor eventually later on in my career, but mostly right now I'm focusing on the career of being a policy consultant. So McNair has definitely been a highlight of my Suffolk success story, I like to say, because it helped me pretty much get to my PhD program right now. Without McNair, I wouldn't have been able to understand the grad process. I wouldn't have been able to pass my GREs, which, whew, a Lord helped me with that one. But McNair played a very key role into where I'm headed and where I'm at right now.
Shout out to the McNair Scholars Programs.
Mm.
I need to come get some tips on GRE. Maybe some, and I believe you're gonna have some tips for me for
Of
writing the
course.
GRE. Yeah. So I think you mentioned something about this next question earlier, but I just wanted to shed more light. So how did social capital, connection, or relationship with people both within and beyond professional setting influence your career and success?
Social capital is important. It is highly, highly important. What I have since experienced and realized throughout just life, I'm only 23. I still have so much more to learn. But from what I have been through and what I have picked up on is that the people who are around you, the people that you know, and even people that you might share space with that you don't know, have unique insight and perspective about anything and everything. Um, I was blessed enough to be in different communities while at Suffolk, and outside of Suffolk, I was also involved in many different things. And in every single one of those areas, there wasn't a single person that I didn't encounter that didn't pour into my life in a way that I wasn't able to use it again later. Having people, for example, like I'm gonna keep bringing you up, Ade, but having people like Ade, whenever I would have questions about anything, it didn't have to be anything school related, it didn't have to be anything career related. It could have been questions about just life or success. What does that mean to you? Hearing different responses and having different perspectives about certain things that I might be interested in now or will be interested in the future, having people around you who can speak to that or provide new insight or new perspective can shape questions or inspire something inside of you that you never thought you had before. Whether it's your friends, your coworkers, your peers, people that sit next to you on the bus that might be reading a newspaper and you ask them, hey, what's that? And you end up learning their life story. Like it has been, social capital has definitely played a key and important role in everything I've done in life.
That's so great because this leads to my next question. What's the best part of having a mentor?
Ooh, having a mentor is amazing. And not just for the fact that they speak into you, they encourage you, they motivate you, they push you. They have sometimes have walked the same walk that you're walking or can give you tips and tricks on how to get around certain obstacles or go through certain obstacles. But the most important thing about mentorship that I have encountered is that my mentors that I have had have always held me accountable. There are times in life where you don't want to do things. You don't want to keep going. You know, you might be in a space where you're the only woman, you're the only man, you're the only Black person, and it's exhausting. And you're just like, you know what? I quit. I don't want to do grad school anymore. Forget this. Ade, like you're probably like, Ade, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. But having somebody there who will say, hey, you're here for a reason. I will help you get through this, but you need to believe in yourself just as much as I believe in you and just as much as other people believe in you. That has been one of the best parts about having a mentor. Because quite honestly, without accountability, I don't know where I would be. If there wasn't somebody to tell me, hey, you said you wanted to do this. I believe you can do this. So let's work on this together. I don't know where I would be. So having a mentor has definitely shaped how I move and the speed at which I move through things in my life.
Unique.
Thank you so much for that insight. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, if you were able to describe some of the challenges and setbacks you've experienced throughout your academic and professional journey, how has that impacted your current choices?
Ooh, these questions are good. Um, some challenges or setbacks in my academic or professional journey. I think no matter what you do in life, there's always going to be challenges and setbacks. But the things that I'm thinking about right now, or at least what came to mind when you asked that question specifically, was more so of the things that are happening in society that led to academic and professional setback. So, for example, I wanted to be a lawyer, growing up, mostly because my family wanted me to be a lawyer, but also because I wanted to as well. And, throughout the pandemic and even before the pandemic, there was a lot of, to put it bluntly, injustice that was happening against the Black community. And there wasn't any denying that, even in my own immigrant experience, that there have been some things that definitely made us uncomfortable or just didn't set us up to live the American dream that we thought we were leaving our home country for. And so experiencing that outside of academics and professional kind of seeped into the way that I mapped out for myself what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be a lawyer anymore after a certain point because I realized that my voice, in my own perspective, would have been much more impactful in the policy world, specifically when it comes to immigration policy and health policy, because these are things that I have experienced on a personal level that I know I can speak to, that I can bring my own perspective into. And so those challenges and setbacks didn't necessarily stop me from still wanting to make an impact in the world, but they did redirect my attention onto how I wanted to do that. And so that's the best way I can answer the question. I know it's not necessarily academic or professional like challenges themselves, but it all ties in together.
Yeah, I do think it ties in together because at the end of the day, like, each person's journey and story is unique.
Mhm.
And so what impacts you might not be the same thing that impacts me, but you have been able to use those challenges to chart a new course. So, I
Mhm.
mean, I can't see anything more important than that. So thank you.
Right.
Um, so I know you're only, that wonderful age of 23, but you are still, young. But I'm gonna guess that at some point in your path, you have looked back and said, oh, I wish I could tell my younger self X. So if you
Mm.
could give your younger self advice, what would it be?
Ooh. Even though I'm 23, there's a lot that I would have wanted to say to my younger self. You're
Tell
absolutely
me.
right. Um, I would definitely encourage my younger self to ask questions. I think as young people, and I'm sure everybody has experiences because everybody was young at some point, we're taught to, listen to the rules, follow instruction, obey authority, which is all important. However, there were certain spaces in which I would have questions, but I didn't feel comfortable asking them because of the instruction that I was given. And so, you come to school, you have 7 classes in high school, you have 7 classes you have to do, or 5 classes, whatever number it is. And you go to school, you go to class, you're done. Sometimes there's space for you to ask questions, but when it comes to, the bigger pictures in life that you have questions about that you don't know exactly what outlet to pour them out onto because of the instruction that you've been given to listen and obey and follow direction. I felt like I didn't have much room to navigate and ask questions. And, I'm grateful that I was able to further on learn that it's okay to ask questions and it's okay to take a minute and think and ask anybody what's going on. No matter if the question sounds silly in your head, it might be something that changes your perspective or the perspective of the person that's giving you the instruction. So I would definitely give my younger self advice to ask questions.
It's very, very, very important to ask.
Hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, this next question is like, um, so I saw on your LinkedIn bio that you described yourself as a change agent. So I'm quite curious that what does change mean to you? Can you share us ways we can inspire change in our society?
I don't know you guys would be looking at my LinkedIn bio. I would have changed my picture. No, I'm kidding. Um, but change to me means dismantling, foundations that don't work or have never served us or don't serve us anymore to establish systems and structures that only enhance our quality of life tomorrow. And like with that is there are things that I've noticed that I'm complaining about or my generation is complaining about that my grandmother's generation complained about that her grandmother's generation complained about. And I found myself asking the question a lot senior year of high school or senior year of college, why are we still going through the same things and encountering the same problems? Why is it that when I go to Jenny or Ade's office in tears about something and they say, I know exactly how you feel because I've been there. Why is this still happening? And so change to me means dismantling those foundations and taking away everything that did not work or stopped working at one point so that the generations that come after us can experience a different and a better quality of life, that they're not complaining about the things that our great, great, great whatevers we're complaining about, you know? So that's what change definitely means to me. And you said share ways to inspire change in society. Speaking up, I think, is one huge way that we can inspire change. We everybody's familiar with the term that actions speak louder than words, and in some cases it's true. However, speaking up and using your words are what inspires the change. It's what inspires the action. If you are, going through something or your community is going through something and only you have that specific perspective about what's going on, it is important for your voice to be heard so that the people who are on Capitol Hill who don't know what's going on in downtown Boston can understand how can we improve the life of Bostonians. If we're all the way in DC, we don't know what's going on. If you speak up and you say, hey, this is actually what we're going through and this is how it's impacting our communities, that is the key way into initiating and inspiring change. So I would say speak up. That's the first thing, the loudest thing you could do.
Love that. Change is the only constant in life.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
appreciate you, Lindsay. And my last question for you is something that Adeleke came up with. So I feel like Adeleke should ask this question so that I can ask the other question. So Adeleke, you go with that one.
Okay, so the question is a very interesting question. So it says, do you think leaders are born or leaders are made?
Yeah, I know this question is interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely philosophical. um, I think it's both. There are, people who are born into families who are leadership oriented, that their fathers are CEOs and their grandfathers were the forefathers of certain companies or whatever it may be. And then there are people who have to go through the punches of life to have their eyes opened and see that, okay, this never worked for me and I want to be able to be the person to turn it around. In a similar way, I think like everybody has leadership qualities within them and everybody was born with leadership qualities. Whether or not, we all use it, that's different. But even as an employee, even though your title is an employee and not necessarily CEO, you were entrusted with a specific set of responsibilities that only you can do and only you can carry out, therefore making you a leader in this specific area or in this specific field. I might be a student at school, but a leader in my community or vice versa, whatever it may be. So I definitely think that everybody was born with leadership qualities, whether they realize it or not. Some people, it takes them a lot longer to realize, hey, I was born for this. I was made for this. And some people, they've been hearing that their entire lives, which is a privilege that we can't ignore, of course. But yeah, I think leaders are definitely are born. Yeah, leaders are born and made, both.
Only Lindsay can answer that question that way. So, is there anything else you would like to share with us?
Um, yeah, actually, I think when I first got the email invitation or the LinkedIn invitation from you, Ade, I thought it was very timely because I was sharing with one of my very closest friends that it's the importance of reflection. And it's something that, in our society we don't do as much of because we're always on go, 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 and what's the next thing and what do we have to do? Check off the to-do list, go to sleep, wake up, go to work, go to class, go to sleep. And it's never, we don't always give ourselves time to really reflect and sit and think. And so the only thing that I would share is the importance of reflection, making sure that no matter where you are, what you're doing, how you're feeling, it's always good to look back and look within, and have that moment in time, whether it's 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, to be able to reflect. Something that I found was very important throughout even the pandemic during lockdown when everybody was home. We had Zoom rooms that was set up by different affiliations within the university for us to just reflect, to vent, to sit down and talk. And that's something that we don't do enough of as a society because we're such busy bodies. So reflection is definitely something that we should all be looking forward to incorporating in our lives more. Yeah.
Well, Lindsay, I want to thank you. I am so honored that you said yes to our invitation and so proud to see your journey because I can't wait to call you Dr. Professor Lindsay Dieudonne.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I know that, you are someone who takes your community seriously, and that's why you're doing what you're doing. And so I'm happy to be a cheerleader for you and privileged to be a cheerleader for you. So thank you again for giving us your time, and we look forward to staying connected with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
A pleasure.